All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, happy to be speaking with an individual coming off of a big win, Combate 42, Bantamweight tilt there, and is the reigning champion. I've got Gustavo Lopez on the program to talk a little bit about all that. How's your day going so far there, man?
Going great, man. Just enjoying myself. Had a little fun last night, watching the football game, and then kind of just enjoying today. Getting ready, about to head out to pro practice in a few.
That's awesome, man. Who are like the main, training partners and stuff like that that you put in that work with to get these kind of big performances?
Right now, Jose Benavidez has been a really big help. We've been drilling a lot. My coach is Tim Elliott. Right now, we're helping him get ready for his upcoming fight in October, and then John, Jose's fight against Cejudo coming up soon. Hopefully, we get a date for that.
Yeah, for sure. And like training out of a gym like that, I imagine you have a lot of people like coming through and stuff like that, and like maybe a bit of like you going out to cross train and stuff like that. Were you doing any like cross training, like kind of going back and forth between gyms, or were you kind of just mostly keeping it to the home base there and everything?
We've been usually staying at Extreme Couture, but we go out, go to Tim Planet, help Coach Casey out there helps me out with a lot of jiu-jitsu. I get to get some fun rolls up there. And then I do some of my also striking with Coach Jimmy Gifford up in Red Rock.
Yeah, and I got to talk about this last performance here because, quite a victory over Joey Roquet. And, like, it seemed like it was, like, really making the rounds and everything like that. Just, like, the highlight of the knockout and everything like that. Was that, like, a perfect sort of, outcome there for you? Like, could it have gone any better there?
It went great. I don't think it could have gone any better. I felt like you definitely got it easy. I felt I was going to take him down, hurt him pretty bad, and then get the finish. But the fact that, went out there and he got, I got a quick knockout. He didn't get, severely hurt. So I feel like it came out great for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And yeah, just curious about like what your, future plans are for the promotion and stuff like that because it seems like, a lot of people like crossing back and forth between divisions and everything like that. So, kind of curious, like do you have any aspirations for like a featherweight run at some point or you kind of just like, sticking it out with bantamweight thinking you're going to be like a career 135er?
I think 135 is going to be where I want to stay. I think those 45ers are huge, not that I can do well with them. But those are big dudes, And I'm not that big of a 35er, so even 25 might could be an option as well. But
oh, that's interesting. Do you think that would be a tough cut, or?
you know, yeah, I'm not really sure, But we'll wait. Right now, we're still negotiating with Combate, staying with them. We have another fight. We're still on the contract with them, so I'll definitely be defending it one more time with them, and then see what happens after that. We're renewing pretty soon, or we'll see if, how things work out. I'm really happy with Combate. Truly, he take care of me right. I can take care of, better than any other promotion out there right now, where I'm at. So I don't have that much to complain about.
Yeah, I noticed you were coming up on your 4-year anniversary with Combate. Like you had your debut fight where you beat Mauricio Diaz, and that was like a pretty big win over there. September 17th of 2015. So it seems like you've been doing well with them, and like a 3-fight win streak and all of that. So from what I'm getting here, you'd ideally like to renegotiate a contract and kind of keep being the reigning, defending Combate bantamweight champion, right?
Yeah. If they're gonna take care of me really well, I feel why not? The company's still growing. We're getting bigger fights. We're going out. We're traveling more places. They're doing well with the whole media, getting me out there on ESPN. We went out in Miami with Telemundo as well. So it's like they're doing well. They're just up and coming. It's nice to be right in the way for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I was curious because like it seems like there's some sense of like a contract coming to an end and everything like that. Like certain promotions, like I mean PFL for instance, it seems like having that like high finishing rate like really works in the guy's favor because it gets them those like playoff berths usually and stuff like that. And I notice you have like a 90% finishing rate, so it seems like a lot of other promotions would probably be happy to have your services. But I agree with the sentiment of Combate seems to be promoting you well, and it seems like a mutually beneficial thing.
Yeah, exactly. What's the whole way to take off and try to do somewhere else when I'm being taken care of right where I'm at, But we'll see. We're not even sure what the future's going to have in store for us. But I'm grateful where I'm at and where things are going right now. So we'll see. The next couple of weeks, couple of months, we'll decide on what I'm gonna be doing, and if I'm gonna be defending it one more time, or we'll keep winning as much as we can.
Yeah, for sure. And, facing that last opponent there, like a familiar foe for sure, like had already fought them back in, December 2015 and then got that arm triangle submission over them. Is there any kind of like, unique pressure heading into a rematch with somebody where you've already beaten them in like relatively emphatic sort of fashion? Like, I mean, it seems like you one upped yourself with this performance here, but like heading into it, was there any kind of like pressure in that regard at all?
No, I felt that my team and I did everything we had to do to be ready. But the game plan was eventually to take them down and kind of write them out like we did last time, and submit them. But that perfect punch came in right at the right time, in the right place. We just ended the fight there. And it worked out great. I came out, no injuries. Ready to do it again.
Yeah, man, it seems like you're in a good place in a lot of ways. But usually when I have my guests on, I gotta ask them like what kind of music they're training to and stuff like that. Like, do you have a certain genre you like to go to with training? Are there some artists you get fired up to like when you're training, or are you kind of one of those guys that trains in like relative silence and the music isn't that big of a thing?
Yeah, I see the music's more about everything. I've been getting more into like the EDM music lately. A bunch of my coaches are really into it, and kind of when we were up in Tahoe, that's all we listened to, and was the music and me being in such a good vibe over there got me to enjoy the music even more. So there's some artists that are gonna come down to Vegas, so I get to go watch them. Luckily that I live in a place that I get to experience all at one place, so it's nice.
Yeah, for sure, man. You've been great with your time, though. I'm curious if there's anything you want to add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping things up here.
I think I'm just really happy with where I'm at. I'm really thankful for for everyone that's been supporting me. Hometown been doing great things. I know I want to go back to Washington, to Wapato, my hometown, and kind of talk to the kids out there and kind of just let them know there is a way. Things could go right. If you keep working hard.
Oh, that's cool. So you do like some motivational speaking kind of stuff then? Is that sort of what you're saying?
Yeah, I've done it before a couple years ago, but now that I am the reigning champion, it kind of I think gives more value over there now.
That's amazing, man. That must put things into like perspective for like, some people you're talking to and stuff like that. Like it gets them really motivated and inspired. So it's cool that you're, cognizant of where you're at and paying it forward. That's awesome, man.
Definitely, I've coming up with Brian and Misha, they really helped me a lot, and they kind of the way Misha did all her things kind of gave me a platform on how to follow. Because she was a great champion, so trying to definitely give it forward and just help out the other people out there when I can.
That's an awesome thing, man. Champion in and out of the cage. People should be following along with the next step for Gustavo Lopez. And from what you're saying, it seems like that next step could be coming up sooner than people think. So I really appreciate all the time, man. Looking forward to like the next fight announcement and all that. And hope you have a great rest of your night too, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.